as we said on Thursday, today is another sizing stream. I have tons and tons and tons of paper to size. It's going to be my job now for the next couple of days. A group this morning, a group this afternoon, again tomorrow morning, and I don't know, no, that'll be it, 3 groups this weekend. So that's my career recently. We're just making so many prints. So my job, you see it at both ends. You see me doing the paper, sending it out, and you see me when they come back and checking for chitty and stuff. That's basically all I do these days almost. So carving is coming soon. In fact, it's Monday. Carving will start Monday morning on next year's series. So stand by for some actual real work. Okay, I haven't got anything cooked, so I'll roll the camera around and we can see the cook up first. Give me a few minutes for that. It's a full batch today, 3 liters, which is about all we can handle at one go here. I put the glue in last night to soak before going to bed. And it will melt in moments here. If I hadn't put it in last night, if I was just starting now with fresh glue, it's going to take a while, but we're okay. I remembered last night to do it. So. I just made it in time today. Just made it. Let's put that thing on the other side. So we're prepping for sizing. I'm making the mix, the glue mix. Give me a few minutes. It'll take 5 or 10 minutes to make the glue here, and then we'll come back and do the actual sizing. So first step is making the glue mix. We're going this morning, we're going to miss a bit of the action, you know. It's too bad about the timing today, you know. Across the street out front, those of you who've been watching for the past few weeks, you know, across the street out there's a new shop, or if I can call it a shop, a new place opening, and they're opening this morning. And he will be expecting me to have the camera out there, but I can't adjust the schedule. This has to be done today. So it's no problem. We'll have lots of chances to catch him, and maybe Monday we'll do that. Today is their opening day. They're out there already getting ready, so it's flags and banners and activities. So. Okay, 5 minutes. It's got to sit there for about 5 minutes. Can somebody set me a timer on that? I don't really know. That's an arbitrary time. 5, 10 maybe, but 5 should do it. We found before when we mix it and then use it straight away, sometimes the mix seems to be too weak. The printers report that the sizing isn't as strong as it should be. So we've just mixed it right now, and I think we'll wait just 5 minutes or so. My machine says 8:08, so give me a few minutes here. The paper we're going to be doing today here is for this year's print series, 2 batches. Some of the paper, about half of it, will be used for next month's print, the November print, the woodpecker print. And then the other half of it will be used for back number. We've now started reprinting this year's series. There's so much demand for this year's series. We're starting reprinting. 1 and 2 are done. The paper here will be for number 3. So we're printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And by the time we get to number 6, then Cameron will be opening up this year's series for for subscriptions opening again. That'll be happening in November, somewhere around there. So schedule's been this. In October, we've opened up the Pilgrimage series. In November, we'll open up this year's series again. And then in December, of course, we'll start subscriptions for next year's. Someone's asking about the settings. I didn't even know such a setting existed, but after the frustration in the last stream, the delay on the chat, I looked it up, and it seems there's a setting for latency. We've changed it, so I don't know what kind of a delay do we have now. I don't know. If I type in here, how long does it take till we see it? If I type hello world, and if I haven't hit the return key yet. 3, 2, 1, return. For me, it appears instantly, but I guess it's my own computer, so I don't know. But I don't know, 2, 3 seconds, okay. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize that it had got too long. I didn't even know there was such a setting. And then in the last chat, it seemed really frustrating. People were obviously saying things that was 1 second before I pressed return, minus latency. So, okay, good. Thanks for that. Thanks. Anybody else have any other hints and helps about this? Please let me know. Whatever. The fun one was that Twitch hack that came the other day, right? And all the data and stuff have been exposed. So all of us famous Twitch streamers here, our income has been exposed for everybody else to see. So whatever. So it was fun to see, to look at that spreadsheet and the people earning, vast sums. But what I really enjoyed, I don't know if you caught it, the story about that leak. I don't remember her name. There was a young lady in there. And she's capped, this has happened before the leak, she capped her subscriptions. She was feeling uncomfortable about taking so much money from people who she felt were just people like herself. And she had a name for it. I don't know, it's the name of a rich person who was taking a bunch of money from not poor, but quote, normal people. I forget the term she used. And it was really interesting to see that she had done this and stopped this on her own chat. So she's capped her subscriptions and said no more. This was before the leak. It wasn't, is that the name? Pokimane? I don't remember. But she seemed like a really, interesting way to do this, I've always felt curious about this. There's these people who've got millions of dollars and they're streaming and you see millions of dollars. Why are people still putting in $1 and $2 and $1 and $2, I don't know. How's our time? What's the time? I said 5 minutes. Let me stir it up a bit. The other thing about that thing about the streaming, how many people are talking about? A few dozen people who are making enough to make a living on this? I don't know how many streamers there are on Twitch. Hundreds of thousands, but it's only a few dozen, I guess. Or a few hundred, whatever. 5 minutes yet? Tell me it's 5 minutes. I want to get going on this. 5 minutes. Okay. We've got 3 liters in the can, but I can't put it all into the tray. I made 3 liters because I said I'll be doing this morning and this afternoon, but I can't pour it all in there. It leaves it too deep and the brush just gets soaked and the handle gets messed up. So I've poured enough in there just to bring it to about the depth of the brush itself. If I put it all in there, the brush goes in there, the wooden part gets covered with glue, it's sticky, it gets all over the house. So it's okay. I can top it up and top it up and top it up bit by bit. The brush it was used a few days ago and then rinsed. It wasn't washed out. So the brush now is still, it's hard. It's not a nice soft brush, but it's hard with glue, and when I put it in there, it will soften up again in seconds. which I did. I put a bit too much in there, and the wood is going to get a bit sticky. So Annabelle was talking about that diptych. It, of course, is a triptych. I don't know if I said so when we were looking at it with the printers, and I have a link. The print we showed. Ow! I don't want the stream here. Let's see. 1 second, please. I have a link for you. The print that Annabelle San here is talking about. If I can find it. Hyonaga. Copy link. It is indeed a triptych, of course. It absolutely is indeed a triptych. Here's a link to and this is really, really interesting. This is a copy that they've got, which, whatever, it's very bright colors, and I don't think it's from the era. Someone's asking, have you got your Patreon chibis? We are partway through. The stack of 500 chibis is there. We are chewing through. I think the first 220 or 230 have been posted. We are still working our way through it. So if you haven't got your chibi, absolutely please don't panic. You can write me a note if you like, and I'll check, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They are on the way. So some people are getting them. So they're arriving and not arriving. So it's going on what order is it going in? Well, of course, each month they go in when your time hits 6 months after the previous one, we send it. But when we print out the address labels, I guess they're alphabetical order. I don't know. I shouldn't admit that. I don't know what the order is. And then it goes to Teiko-san, a young girl who used to work for us doing print parties. She is our Patreon chibi mailer. She's not full-time at that, but she's pretty close to it. Okay, what we've got here, we have, I'm not sure about the timing for this stream here. We've got here 25 sheets cut in half, which makes a stack of 50. And I don't remember, how many do we usually do when it's a stream that it runs just right to the right time to have time for show and tell? I'm thinking 50 is too many. If I try and do 50, remember I got to do the top and the bottom. There won't be time for show and tell. I see it in the camera, I don't see it in real life. I think, oh, it's this. It's the reflection of the end of the computer. Leave me alone. So if I do 25, it'll be finished soon. What time is it now? It's 8:15. We want to spend an hour, get to show and tell. I don't know. Let's do 30 sheets. That can go into this afternoon's batch. So if I do 30 here now, it's 30 on the top, then 30 on the bottom. We got to go hang it up. That'll take us to 9:15 for show and tell. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Green tape. The first sheet, we've been trying different ways to do this. You've seen me do this different ways over the past few months. The first sheet really does tend to slide on the backboard. I'm taping it. For a while there I was moistening the backboard, but that was affecting the sizing on the first sheet. So we've gone back to working with a dry board. Does that do us? Actually, I want to move back a bit so I can get into the blue. Hang on. Is that it? Someone's asking about the expensive prints. They have all now gone back. So that was an idea that it's one of those things, what do you say? It seemed like a good idea at the time. It didn't work out. We had their prints, a bunch of those prints here for, I guess, what was it, a month, 6 weeks? I don't know. We put a small selection of them into our flea market. I couldn't put a large selection in there because I didn't feel comfortable with the price they were asking. We talked a little bit about this before. He brought over his prints, and each one he marked in a folder the price that he wanted to get for that print. The idea being that I would then mark it up and we would put it in our flea market. The problem is, whatever, I didn't give his name, it's okay, whatever. The problem is the price he was asking me was, I felt, basically retail price. In other words, he's just trying to sell them to me. And I can't do that and put up a markup on them and pay our expenses here and pay him full retail price. That's not fair to anybody. He'd be happy, but sorry. So we sort of chatted about it a little bit. No heavy negotiation because there's no stress on this thing, you know. There's no banging on the table and stuff like that. But I showed him a couple of things that we had in our flea market already, prints from similar series, the same series that he was asking. And we're selling it for $220, whatever, and he's asking me $400 for it. So the thing didn't work out, I'm sorry. I guess he's not, what's the word? He's not hungry enough, that's fine. And it could be actually that he has the right idea here, and I'm the one who is still undervaluing this stuff. This is very possible. Very possible. I have a lower impression of what these things are worth, you know, financially and stuff. And he's thinking, no, Dave, $400 is a good wholesale price for that. $600, that's market price for it. Go for it. And I'm not comfortable with that, but I could be the odd man out here, because prices for these things have been going crazy in recent years. So anyway, as I said, I pulled the plug on it because I felt uncomfortable with it. That's all. So I'm sorry for the disappointment. We sort of teased it up. Well, we're going to have a whole bunch of new stuff, new interesting prints, things we didn't have before. I teased it up. So I'm sorry, I wasn't teasing. I was just, you know, whatever. Planning and planning. John's talking about something different. The house we printed at Watanabe, it's now over 30,000. This is a different story. This is a completely different story. That is a product that has to be made, and there are production costs. In other words, printers. We have to pay printers. And printers right now are extremely, extremely scarce on the ground. We've been raising the price we pay to printers all across the board. This year, you know, nearly a year ago now, we put up the subscription price, and all of the increase, all of it went to the printers. This is my favorite brush. It's so nice. It's rich and thick and full. The day I bought it, we had come back. This is, I don't know, 10, 12, how many years ago, I don't know. The day I bought it, no, it must be about 7 years ago, because we were here in Osaka. I got it from Miyagawa, so I bought it. It was nice. I brought it home, and I guess 1 or 2 days later, I tested it, and it was so nice. I went running straight back to Miyagawa. Okay, 2, 3 more. Let me get some more of this before, you know. He says, sorry, that was the last one. And I'm like, well, make some more, please. He says, we don't do that anymore. There's no demand for them. So it was just luck. I got the last one. He's dead now, of course. He's gone. His wife is gone. They don't do that anymore. So we take care of this. Absolutely, I take care of this. It should last my life. Yeah, John, so what the Hasui prints they were around 20,000 for a long, long, long time. The current price seems to have stabilized at around 30,000. It's a few things. Part of it's the printers, of course, but in Watanabe-san's case, those blocks, they've had those blocks for over half a century, well over half a century. So you can't really talk about production costs accurately because the blocks were amortized 2 generations ago. So all they're paying for now is printers and everything else. But it's market. It's market. They're selling everything they can make. Absolutely. We're now almost in the same position, This paper here is going to be used next week for making prints, and all those prints are already spoken for. Every piece of paper you're going to see me brushing here, it's already sold. It's a frustrating situation. No, it's not raining. There's a few background sounds here. One sound is the heater itself. It cycles up and cycles down. You hear the crick, crack of the metal of this thing. But the thing that might make you think it's raining is it's outside. It's the air conditioning unit from the Rocks company over there. And it runs all the time. There's also the computer fans. They're running pretty heavily too. The microphone is over here. So we got computer fan, the heater, the outside air conditioners. There's no air conditioner running inside here. That's the heater. It just cycled on or cycled off, one or the other. Yeah, that was it. It was cycling off. The light just went out, so all the contraction and all that stuff starts to happen right away. Someone's asking, when does it get cold in Japan? Well, it depends where you are. It's a big, big, big country. Here in Tokyo, it is still it's hot. It's still hot here. And it changes, in a normal time, the temperature for us changes really quickly. There will be a low pressure, maybe a typhoon, a band of low pressure rain or something. Sometimes it's a typhoon and it sweeps off to the north or east or whatever, and behind it in comes the polar air. And it happens just like that. Bang, bang, bang. We have hot, muggy weather for a long time, then some heavy rain, and then we wake up the next morning and it's blue skies and it's grab your sweater time. At least here in Tokyo. And it will happen, it's in early October. It could happen any time in the next month. It could happen tomorrow, it could be a month from now. No idea. That polar thing, what do they call it? The polar vortex, whatever. And it hits us bang on one particular day. But I, for one, I'm looking forward to it. I like that kind of weather. Well, someone's asking if I can give a tour. I don't have a mobile here. I don't have a phone. So the camera we are using, these are all static cameras. These are cameras on a tripod plugged into the wall. I can't walk around the building here. I'm sorry. I don't have the technical capability for that. We could one day get the iPad or something and try and stream around the building, I guess. But no, Tokyo doesn't get much snow. Many years we get absolutely none. Tokyo is not a heavy snow place. I can't say it doesn't snow because sometimes we do get clobbered. And a few years ago we got really clobbered, like 3 feet, 2 weeks in a row. But most winters we don't get much snow here in Tokyo. Yeah, I did the Ome thing, right? I flubbed it actually. I got the iPad there and tried to walk around the Ome place. So yeah, we could do it. The problem is I'm busy. Busy. This is a working workshop. We had a group of people here yesterday visit it. It was supposed to be, it escalated. It was supposed to be somebody, whatever. I think it was originally going to be 2 or 3 people coming to visit. They're making a media project that involves Japanese imagery, and they wanted to see and learn and touch something about Japanese prints. The project, I don't know, it's probably top secret. I can't talk about a specific project, but so they came. It was started with 2 or 3 people, and ended up with 7 people, and it was okay. It was fun. They're pleasant people, and it was, if it was useful for them for their project, I don't know. We talked a little bit about Japanese prints, new ones, old ones, how the visual content of Japanese prints could be used in their presentation, the movie. I don't know. The work here is going well. It seems smooth. It seems even. If my swing coach is there, a few hundred swing coaches can watch me. Are we doing okay? I'm trying to be careful. I have a tendency sometimes to put the brush too much this way. I'm trying to brush completely evenly flat, but I have a tendency absolutely to be heavy on that side. So if my swing coaches can keep an eye out here, please. Yeah, good light here, I think. Not quite sure. Seems okay. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Should I angle the desk here? I don't know. Would that affect the water distribution? I don't know. We want the thing to be level in water. I don't know. I think it's just a question of making sure I'm careful. I guess everybody knows there was the quake the other night here in Tokyo. It was fun in scare quotes. That was a big one, It was a big one. Here in Tokyo there was absolutely no warning. We all have the warning systems on our phones here. I don't have a smartphone. I've just got this little flip. But even so, these things now are also programmed. So I was sitting on my bench, it wasn't last night, 2 nights ago, right? I was sitting downstairs, and the phone instantly starts to scream, earthquake, earthquake, earthquake. And at exactly the same moment is when we started to shake, because the quake was so close to Tokyo. So for us here, there was no lead time. It was just bang, it starts. people a couple of 100 kilometers away, they would get the warning on their phone 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds before the quake arrived. But the paradox about those warning systems is that if you're on top of it, you get no warning. And that's really strong. If you're 100 kilometers away, you get lots of warning, but by then it's not a very strong earthquake. So this is sort of a bit of a paradox in the whole warning system that makes it a little bit not so useful. So I think where it's really useful is ATC, automatic train, what's it called? The automatic train control systems. If you've got a Shinkansen train running at a bajillion miles an hour, they shut down as soon as that warning thing hits. So that's good for them, you know. John's asking, did I do the last one? I think so. 1, it's wet. 2, it's wet. Yep. I think so. Keep an eye on it. Keep me honest here, but I do think I hit them. Yep. And there's something else I meant to ask you. We changed the latency settings here at this end then, and it clearly has changed the way that the chat works. But I'm not hearing today any reports of people who are getting a black screen. And over the past few months, there's been constant discussion in the chat of black screens restart. And I'm not seeing any of that today. So is this another thing? My latency setting has changed this. If you have a black screen today, let me know. I haven't seen any reports today. But recently everybody's been yelling and screaming about it. Now, I just shrug those off because when somebody in the viewers complains about something, but everybody says it's okay for me, then I tend to think it's nothing to do with my settings. So we are getting some. So maybe no connection then with the latency. Okay, just I was kind of curious about that. There must be an issue with regional distribution, right? I mean, I'm serving up to the Twitch servers. I'm serving to a server here in Asia, in Japan. And then from there, how does it get to you? Is it people in Europe and people in America? Are you accessing the Japanese server, or does Twitch pass it on to different servers in your area? So this black screen thing, it's interesting. Is it always people from Europe, or is it always people from North America, or whatever? I don't see these reports, so I don't know. But that would be another big tell. If everybody who's getting a black screen at the same time is in Europe, then we know what's going on. Okay, we're almost done here. First half of this, right? What have we got left? Have people been counting? I have 2 sheets left here. So what did I say we were going to do? I said I was going to do 25. I've already forgotten. I don't know. One short of 30, is that it? So I've got 29. If that's the case, I've got to fix it, because when I hang them, I want to hang them in pairs. let's check them. I can't count the wet ones, but I can count what's left here. So let's see. So there should be 20 sheets here, kind of. There's 21. Thank you, whoever got that. Chocolate egg. Who is it? Who told me I was missing one? Big fat chocolate egg. Who was it? Quoting comic. Okay, 30 sheets. Let's flip it. I don't know who gets the eggs, who's counting. Shoot. Did I send a chocolate egg for the first response? I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, the first response. I don't know. I don't remember here, I'm sorry. Speaking about that flip, you know, YouTube fed me a random video. I don't know when it was. This is some time ago, a year ago or so. There's some potter somewhere. There's, you know, I now and then I watch, you know, there's a specific channel that comes from China somewhere. Somebody's working with porcelain and makes beautiful teacups. And the video is really, YouTube has been recommending them to me. And I watched one or two, which means YouTube recommends lots more. And YouTube has also been, because I watched one or two of those Chinese pot makers, YouTube, of course, now sends me a million recommendations about other pot makers. Long story short, there's this guy, his name was Bill Potter? No, I can't remember. And he's making very, very large trays and stuff. And he's on this kind of a wheel, whatever, and he made, it's about like this wide. He made a shallow tray about this wide, and he's doing this on a wheel, blah, 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 blah. And at some point in the process, he's got to work on the back side. So he's got to flip this thing. So you saw me just now flip that paper. This is nothing. I put a piece of board on top and flipped it. That's nothing. It's like making an omelet, whatever. But this guy flipped, and I'm not exaggerating, it's about that wide, a shallow tray. And he flipped it and put it back on his thing to work on the back side. And I'm like, that guy is a master, an absolute master. And then, of course, immediately the negative thought comes up was, how many has he spoiled in order to get that good, you know? I can't remember his name. It was Bill something. I can't remember. Okay, I put a bit too much liquid there. It pooled a bit, so I've got to be careful. This is the back side. The paper is already moist, so I don't need to put too much. I've got to wipe off more here. So wipe off just a tad more at this point so the brush doesn't have quite so much liquid in it. And now we're good to go. Still a tiny bit here. I don't know if you can see it. You're getting the light from the wrong way, so I can see it against the light. Right here and right here, there's a bit of a pool. There's too much liquid. And if I put the new piece of paper on top of that, those two sheets would stick together. So I've got to wait here for a moment. Come on, drink in, drink in. And once the liquid's gone, I can put the next sheet on. So the back side, absolutely, the back side needs less liquid, absolutely. Or not just less liquid in the brush, but the way I'm doing it, I got to move a bit faster here. You know, I was perhaps a bit too slow. Looks good, looks better. We'll get to it. So people are asking about the size of the paper. I know this is half of the sheet. I cut them in half a few minutes before the stream started. The real sheets are about, well, I think we've got some here. The real sheets are about this size. We have different sizes of paper here, but the one I'm doing today is about that size. And we cut it in half. This would do for one of the great waves, it would do, but today these are going to be cut. There's going to be 4 prints made from each one of these sheets. Yeah, John's got it. So, I know a real sizing craftsman, a guy doing this, you know, Misawa-san, whatever, the guy's been doing it all his life, he would not cut them in half before sizing. He would do them as a single sheet. I can't do it that way for 2 reasons. To do it as a single sheet means I need a brush big enough for that. And we have, there's the biggest one we've got. It's like this, and it's still not enough. To go across that full sheet of paper, the brush would have to have a bit more on the end of it, and if I got a brush bigger than that, it wouldn't fit in this thing. So this is really the max for us, and it doesn't matter because, well, it takes me twice as long to do it, but it's okay. I've got control over each one of the sheets. And here at Mokuhankan, we are not making any prints bigger than this at all. I think you're right. I think I missed one. I don't know who that is, but whoever it is gets a double chocolate egg, because I did indeed miss that one. Thank you. LOC Barcelona. Eggs, eggs, chop, chop. All you can eat. Thank you very much. Top class. Thank you. Talking and working at the same time, it doesn't work, this show. I'm very good, very happy with this. So, have all these coaches helping. Very helpful, thank you very much. Next step is you guys come over here and do it. So a bunch of new visitors do we have here today. I don't know if this is interesting for you or not. Thanks for joining our stream for a few minutes at least. I don't know where you're coming from. It's perhaps a little bit different from what you're used to. I don't know. This is the kitchen of a woodblock printmaking workshop. And what we're doing here in 25 words or less, we are gluing paper. This is paper that's going to be used for woodblock prints, and we are putting glue on the back side of it. So this particular stream today is not going to have any real live printing action. This stream today is going to be just more and more of the same thing. I'm going to keep working on this, gluing it. If you're curious about printmaking itself, some of our other streams show the actual printing work and the actual carving work. Someone says, are we hiring? We are hiring, but it's not just an open slate. Come on over. I need people who know how to do these jobs. We desperately need printers, people who have experience of this thing, who are able to make and work on Japanese prints. But the downside is Japan's immigration system doesn't work easily. If you're living overseas, I'm sorry, I can't help you or talk to you. I need people who are already living in Japan. I cannot help anybody with a visa. That's not how it works. If I were Toyota, that can be done. At my level, nothing can be done. So it's no good, even, I don't care how interested you are in this. One, if you don't know what you're doing, you're of no help to me. And second is, I can't hire you anyway. Well, the Japanese immigration system isn't odd. It's exactly what the Japanese want. They are not a country that is open to wide immigration. It's a policy. They've always been like that. This is not strange or unusual. Population growth has always been internal. They've had no need for immigration. At the moment, it's a different story. The population is decreasing. There's labor shortages everywhere, but you can't so suddenly quickly change the whole national mood. It's not a country that's friendly to immigration. They've seen things like European countries who have a lot of immigrants from a different culture coming in all at the same time, and they've seen the sort of disruptions that can sometimes make to a country's culture. I'm saying they, I'm talking about, Japan as a country. And they don't like it. Nobody here wants that. Immigration on a very, very, very small scale, people like me who come to the country and learn the language and dig in and start companies and hire people, that's cool, but they do not want wide-scale immigration. And there is an existential problem coming, given that the population is now decreasing. How's our time? We're okay, I guess. I don't know. We'll get through this. The other thing about the idea of non-Japanese working for us, people from overseas, the other real downside to this is that for me there's no future in it. Lots of people seem to love Japan. Lots of people come here and say, oh, it's wonderful, I want to stay. Lots of people like the idea about working in Japan. But in the real truth of it, at the end of the day, out of all the foreigners who come here to do things and to work, 999.99999% of them at some point say, that's it, I'm going home. Home meaning overseas. They don't stay. I don't have, facts and figures at my fingertips. There was a fascinating story in the Japan Times about this quite a while back. And they did the facts and figures. And I'm making up the numbers here, but it was something like this. Out of all the foreigners who are here in any given year, the number who stay longer than a year is very small. So in other words, it was 90% of the people who come here, of course, leave within a year. That's fine. That's what tourists do, whatever. The next step was 3 years. If you move your calculation to 3 years, out of all the people who have come from overseas to Japan to work in the military or English teachers or do this or business trips or whatever, at the end of the 3 years, there's less than 1 or 2% of them still here. So 98% of the people that have come here before 3 years are up are now gone. And then it was 4 years, 5 years. And the next step in this analysis of theirs came after 7 years. And the next calculation was at 7 years now. How many of those people who were the survivors of the 3-year one, the 1 or 2%, of those 90x% have now gone. So it's, the first year everybody leaves, just a few. Then we scale this up, everybody leaves. So the steps were 1 year, 3 years, 7 years. And if you make it past 7 years, that's now people like me. You're going to plant me here at the end of my life. That's it, you're in. But David here, looking at potential employees, I would have to be brain dead. There's just no way we're going to get somebody from overseas. They're going to train for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Maybe that person becomes a good printer. There's no future in it because almost certainly they're going to be gone. And we're seeing that now, with this month. Cameron Sands leaving. It's his 7th year. I thought he was, good to go. Nope, 7 years, that's it. I think Marilyn Monroe made a movie about that or something. I don't know. So no, not to be hostile or unfriendly about it, but I am not interested in training foreigners. Someone's asking, what are the main reasons for people not staying? I know you're asking the wrong guy because I'm the one who did stay. I know, whatever, if you're an adult, you've grown up somewhere, and as an adult you move to a different country for work or whatever, come from America to Japan, go to somewhere else, whatever. You can enjoy it and you can integrate, you can learn the language, but still you've got this thing that home is somewhere else. And for most people, home is where they were born, where they grew up and all that kind of stuff. And that seems to have, for most people, a real pull. They want to go home at some point. It's been, in this case with Cameron going back, of course, it's family ties. For him, he and his wife and kids and his extended family there, family has turned out to be more important to Cameron and his family than actually where he chooses to live. He's loved it here, he's liked it here, but family trumps all. And in my case, that was never the case, because when I was a kid, because we were so mobile everywhere, we never had the family home or all that stuff, things like that. We were a mobile family, so I got built in from the beginning. Hey, start fresh somewhere else. It's okay. Cut, start fresh somewhere else. I was trained this way for, 15 years. So for Dave here to stay over here, there's no bother. Wherever I am, that becomes home. My mother, I guess if she's on the stream this morning watching, her life has been the same way. My mother moved and moved and moved and moved. She's lived in different countries. And I'm a double immigrant. I was born in Britain. The family immigrated to Canada. We became Canadians. And then as an adult, I left for Japan. I didn't think of it as immigration at the time, but it's turned out to be immigration. So I'm a double immigrant. There can't be too many of those in the world. Somebody's counting, are they? Thank you, thank you. I mean, we're going to get to the end when we get to the end. So this one's But I think I've put too many sheets in the stack here, in terms of going through the top side and the bottom side and then hanging them up. I don't know how much show and tell time that's going to leave for us. Andy's asking, how fun was the earthquake, Disho? Andy, you're further west, Disho. I don't think it was so bad for you. We're here. We're about, 15 kilometers from the epicenter, so it was a shaky one here. But I talked to Sadako later that evening. She lives in the west side of Tokyo, and she said, yeah, it was okay, no big deal, nothing. And here, we were scared. We were scared. I say we, there was only me in the building, but whatever. そうか、コロラドでしょ? Yeah, yeah. Our data center, where we have our websites and all that stuff, that's in Colorado. Actually, it's cloned. The web hosting company that we use for all of our systems has 2 data centers, one in Pittsburgh, and recently they opened another one in Colorado, thinking that was safer. No flood, no earthquake, no whatever. That reminds me, thinking about the website, I said, because they're hosted in Colorado, whatever, there's very little chance of the website going down. But actually, our site was down yesterday for about 10 minutes. And I had done it. I killed it. I was running a script related to our new subscription software. And I had an infinite loop in it. And it was processing heavily in an infinite loop and trying to output to a browser at the same time. And I killed our server. It's a shared server, so X numbers of websites must have gone down at the same time. And it took, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes before the system at that end. It's all protected, if a script goes wild, their system catches it after 2 or 3 minutes and shuts it all down. And I was waiting for an email from their support saying, excuse me, customer, we have detected an anomaly with your site and we're booting you off the server or something. I was waiting for this. It didn't come. Just simply, they put a bullet in my script and the system then rebooted and they went forward. But it was down for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, And not just my site, but everybody else on the shared hoster, When it happens to me, I'm like, come on, get your shit together, But it was my fault. I did it this time. So what happened to my website? Some dude in Japan who is over his head. It was so wild. It was supposed to be an if loop. If such and such, yes, then loop and do this. And I don't know why I typed the word while. And it said while such and such, then loop. I brain dead. It was late at night or something. Brain dead. And it was a while loop, and the variable didn't get changed inside the loop. So that's it. It just ran straight away. No, scrambling languages, there's those mistakes too, So one language needs a comma, one language needs a colon, one language needs a comma at the end of a parameter list, the next language doesn't need a comma at the end of the list. I'd crack that up all the time. But no, that's not what happened here. It was just simply Dave, brain dead Dave. Wow, I can't believe I actually did that, but there it is. Okay, we are on the last sheet. We're on the last sheet. That doesn't mean we're finished. We move to the next step of the process. And unlike a few weeks ago, today I will remember. I left the brush in the glue. It wasn't last time, 2 streams ago or something. I left the brush in the glue. We went to the next room to work over there. And when I came back, this brush was not happy. So the brush goes in hot water. These get covered up. The heater can stay on. If I turned it off now, the glue would just congeal. So the heater can stay on. Okay. Now, for those of you who have never seen this before, we are going to have to disrupt the stream a little bit because I have to move to the next room to continue. Some of the things I can move easily. The computer itself is wired to the internet here, so I'm going to have to try and carry the computer with all its wires. So hang on for a sec. Let me move the other stuff first. First part is easy. The paper goes through. Second part is a bit more disruptive. I have to shut down the main camera over there, unplug it, and then move it to the next room. So don't panic, the stream as yet is not going down, but the main camera is going to go off. And if we do lose the stream, don't panic. The audio now should be through the MacBook, not through the camera. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so far so good. The last one now is moving the laptop. This is connected by Thunderbolt, which is a chronically weak connector. And it's simply the connector gets loose. I will try and hold it in place, but we may go down as the Thunderbolt connector comes loose. So hang on to your shirts. If it goes down, I'll come back. It will automatically reboot a couple of minutes later. We might make it, we might not. I have no idea. Here we go. What have we got to lose? If you wanted a grand tour of the building, we're getting a sort of a tour. We're coming out of the back room. Testing. Into the middle. If I turn around, that's looking through into the printer's room out the front. But we're going to stay in the middle room here. I believe we are still up. I think we made it through. Did we actually make it through without dropping? I don't know. Okay, we're good to go. Yeah, I believe I stayed up. Okay, again, for those of you who haven't seen it, we're in the middle room of this place now. We're in the middle room of the Asakusa building. Up in the front there, that's the front room, looking out over towards the hotel across the street, where the Ninja Boys are open today. Normally Ayumi-san and Sugu-san are in there. There's nobody here this morning. This is the second floor room. We have wood blocks, pieces of wood, all kinds of stuff everywhere for making wood. There are 2 printers' benches in this room. It's just covered with junk at the moment. That's one bench and another bench. They're not being used because we have nobody to do the work. And today now we're going to use these strings up here to hang up the wet paper. I can move the mic a little bit closer to the source of the action. And let's do this. Let's do this. Talk about the Ninja Boys across the street, the shop, and they will be open now. I think they said they were opening about 9 o'clock this morning. There's a Ninja Experience shop open now in Asakusa across the street from us. And we will be seeing those people, not today because we have no camera nearby, but on other days when our camera is out front, we will have guest action from the Ninja people. They are quite happy to appear on Twitch. So this is the next step now. As I said, the paper now, it's really kind of cool. I have soaked and saturated this paper with glue, and yet these things don't stick together. The glue mix was really quite strong. If I had dipped my finger in that mix, it would be sticky, 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 sticky. And yet these sheets now, the glue mix has soaked into the washi paper, top and bottom. They've been sitting on top of each other, and yet the sheets do not stick together. These will be dry by this evening. They will then go into our paper pressing stack. They dry quite flat. They don't get too wavy. They will dry by this evening, and from tomorrow they will be usable by our printers. Now this batch actually won't be used tomorrow because that's another aspect to this. We let it sit. The paper has to sort of, I don't know what's the word, it has to settle, it has to sort out. So it's not so good if the printers use the freshly sized paper right away on the next day. I'm having trouble seeing the chat here because it's such a long way away. I enlarged it, but it's still... Randy Bachman's guitar, whatever. No, I hadn't heard that news. Don't read much about Randy Bachman these days. So, but I've got my own story about that. Heck, I would like to know where my guitars are. From about the same era, from earlier than that. Where is Dave's guitars from 1972, 1971, 1972? There are guitars out there in the world with my label in them. David Bowe, Luthier, Delta BC, 1971. That's the guitar I'd like to find. I know where one of them is. A guitarist called Ray Moga. He commissioned it from me. He got it. It was a cutaway classic. I made it for him, and it would be 1972. And he's still around, and he's on Facebook. He has a Facebook page. He's a guitarist in Vancouver. He must be an old man by now. He's on Facebook. And I wrote to him saying, can I get like a photograph of this or something? And he never replied, you know. He said he still has it. He mentioned that much. But I would love to hear more about it. I was a would-be guitar maker. I wasn't a full-time, you know. I made a guitar for myself just for fun. I've still got it. It's in Ome. It's too heavy. It's clunky. It's a little bit out of tune because I was a bit loosey-goosey with the fretboard and stuff like that. But I got hooked after making the first one, and then I started making it for sale. And I didn't make a whole bunch. I think Ray has number 5. I don't remember. 2, 3, and 4. No. Ray must have 4. 2, 3, and 4 were sold. 5 I didn't finish. I sold it to a guitar shop, and they finished it off and sold it. So there are 3 guitars out there. My number 2, 3, and 4. And then I went on. I was trying to be a musician. I wasn't trying to be a guitar maker. So they're out there somewhere. One day when I'm rich and famous, we'll put out a call. Can I buy these back? And I'd love to see one of those guitars. You know. I say that with some trepidation because they're probably not that good, but whatever. You know. The danger here now, the danger before, when I was doing the sizing right, I missed 1 or 2 and you guys caught me. The slight danger here is to pick up 3 sheets at a time instead of 2. And we won't know if that's happened until I get to the end when there's going to be 1 left. It wouldn't be a real tragedy. They would dry just as nicely. I don't know if you can see the paper. It's soft, wet paper. It's glued. If I put my hand behind it, I'm not quite sure how. Can you see it? This paper. It's all wet now. Remember, it's been rubbed with glue front and back, which has left the paper sort of translucent, and it's really soft. If I bang it, it's going to leave permanent creases. Do we freeze the paper after sizing and drying? No. The only paper that gets frozen here is paper that's in the middle of the printing process. This paper tonight is going to hang here till it's dry. It then goes into our sort of temporary storage right in front of the printer's room. Because this is already booked. This paper will start printing in a couple of days. So this is made to order for some of our printers. And in fact, no, neither of these batches will be used here in Asakusa. They're both going to be sliced up and sent to outside printers. So no freezing is going to happen. It's just going to be dried and then sent off to the printers. And they will cut it to the size they need. And when they are ready to print, they moisten it and start printing. And that's when we, here in Mokuhankan, that's when we freeze. The paper, there's nobody working at the moment in the room over there. You saw the workstations are empty. Their paper is in the freezer behind me. So the only time we freeze it is in the middle of the printing process. Can you tell if paper has already been sized? Yes, very much so. Just a second here. Let me go. Oh, I can't get out of here now. Just a minute. Well, let's try. I shouldn't have interrupted myself. Don't tell me I should have done that. I can't find it. I had some pieces of off-cut paper there. I'm sorry. I know. there's an easy way to tell. If you've got a piece of the Japanese paper and you can't tell if it's sized or not, just grab a corner of it and on your tongue. And you can see if it's like blotting paper, if the moisture just suddenly goes all over the paper, then it's unsized. But if the paper has been sized in the way that we do it here, that stops the moisture from spreading out into the paper. So just one quick test with your tongue. I mean, not on a piece of paper that's going to become a print, because you just destroyed it with your tongue acids. But the point being, if it's super absorbent like blotting paper, then it's not sized. I can't really read it. It's large, small, whatever. And we're running into trouble with our show and tell, I guess. We're already into show and tell time, and I'm not finished, so I think I've done this too slowly today. So. Yeah, okay. If you're asking about the Great Wave waiting list, I really don't know. I'm sorry. You know, I do have news though. We are really going through quickly. You know, you saw me with, what was it, 60 sheets. I think we got 56 good ones. You saw that last week. Chiharu-san, she's been working like an absolute robot. She's called for her next job to start Wednesday, which means she will be sending me another batch of Great Wave prints on Tuesday. Or actually maybe even Monday to arrive Tuesday, I don't know. Or maybe she'll be sending them Tuesday, I get them Wednesday. So another 60. And I still haven't processed the previous 60. They're down on my bench waiting for me to do chiri. So there's 50 odd or 60 Great Waves waiting for me downstairs now. And the next group is coming on Tuesday. And she will then do another job alternating something else. So the next batch won't be for another 3 or 4 weeks, about 4 weeks, I guess. But this is really a good pace. We have never been moving this quickly. So if you're anywhere near the top of the list, you should be happy. Someone's asking, whatever happened to the third Nekohake print? It's on my desk downstairs. The proof prints are on my desk. They've been there now for months. The barrier here is me. It's waiting for Dave to get time. The third and fourth ones are being built. The third one is, oops. Can't hang up the microphone. The third Nekohake print is waiting for me to do more time on color separations. The fourth one, the design is now ready, and it's waiting to be pasted down and have carving start. So we are moving forward, but I am sorry, business this year, well, since the pandemic hit, really, our business model has just been turned upside down. We're desperately short of labor, and one of the side effects has been the CAT series is getting delayed and delayed and delayed. I really don't have a better answer for you. I'm sorry. It's not dead. We're going to do it, but it is going to take a while. It's going to take a while. I'm sorry. And on the second one, the Night Rain, we're reprinting. The first 3 batches that we have printed are all gone. And Suga-san at the moment, the job that she's doing, she's not here today. If she was here today, we'd be able to see. She's working on the Night Rain print. But it's 9:26. There really is no chance to do a good show and tell today. But what I will do, just before we say goodbye, I will just pop up, if I can reach it. One sec. One sec. So we'll save this for Monday because this isn't a good place to do show and tell anyway. What we'll be doing on Monday next show and tell is this. We've got the more of the small, obviously the small match label prints have arrived. I haven't opened them yet. It's more fun opening them when you guys are watching. So we do have some match label prints. We'll look at them carefully on Monday when we have the close-up camera available. But what I also wanted to show you at that time was how we keep these match label prints. We have a set. We use different albums that people use to keep postage stamps in. And what we do is the match label prints are kept in albums like this. And there's a couple of reasons I'm showing you and talking about this now, because it relates to something. Well, we'll see. We'll talk about it when it's time to talk about it. But we'll be looking over the next few show and tells. We'll be looking more carefully at some stuff like this. We've got these, I've got 5, 6, 7, 8 albums downstairs. Big fat albums full of match label prints. So the new stuff that we get, the ones we'll be opening on Monday, will go into one of these folders as well. So we'll spend some time on some of these in the show and tells coming up over the next. Until then, embrace the delight. Mr. Tom 1060 has been quoting me back on this for the next little while. Until then, embrace the delight. Okay, I'm out of here. I am back to my sizing bench. This is my job for the whole rest of the day today. I'm back there. I'm over there. See you on Monday with another good stream on carving. It'll be time to get the knife out next Monday. Thanks for watching, and I'm now going to check on the Ninja people. I can't show it. The camera won't show from where we are. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. We can't see where we are from now. Let's see if we can finish off the way we normally finish off when I'm up here. I can't get enough of this. Small things, small minds. Okay, guys. Thanks for now. See you on Monday morning for a carving stream. Bye for now. Signing off.